Thank you for the feedback and responses to the last lesson. इस lesson में हम major scale को construct करेंगे and we're going to learn how to take it to all 12 keys around the cycle of fourths. हम keys, intervals और scales के बारे में भी सीखेंगे. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive in and have some fun. Let's look at what's happening between any octaves. So let's take an octave of C on the keyboard or the guitar. So you have 12 notes as we know, right? Now the distance between any two notes, ये जो distance है between let's say C and D flat, इसको हम interval कहते हैं. This is known as an interval. Now the interval can exist between any two notes, for example C and D or D and F, etc. Now let's just look at the interval between C and all of the others. A one-step interval is known as a minor second interval. Now a two-step interval is known as a major, this is called two-step, is called a major second interval. Now between C and E flat, okay, we have three steps. This is a minor third. So small m for minor, capital M for major. Now between C and E we have four steps, okay, 4 steps. Now this is a major third interval. Now between C and F we have 5 steps, okay, and this is what you call a perfect fourth interval. This is what we make a cycle of fourths with, right? Now between C and G flat we have 6 steps. This is a diminished fifth or augmented fourth. We'll get back to that later on. And then if we keep going to G, we have 7 steps. This is a perfect fifth. Then if you keep going, you have here 8 steps. This is a minor sixth. If you keep going to A, you have 9 steps. This is a major sixth interval. If you keep going to B flat, you have 10 steps. This is a minor seventh interval. And if you go to B, you have 11 steps, and that is a major seventh interval. And finally, if you go back to C, you have, well, 12 steps, right? All the way up from C to its octave, which is how many notes that you have, or frets you have on the guitar, going from one note to its corresponding octave higher. तो अब हम इस information के साथ कर क्या सकते हैं? Now we know a bunch of intervals, so what? Well, अगर कोई आपको बोलेगा कि my melody is in the key of C major, for example, यहाँ दो important pieces of information है. One is this C. This is called the tonic. और ये जो major है इसके आगे, this tells you what notes are available from which scale that you can use. So let's take an example. So as you can see, इस melody में जो आपने अभी सुना है, it sounds coherent, it sounds good, and there is a strong sense of coming home. That pitch to which it comes home is C, okay, and that's essentially the key in which that melody is written. A scale is basically an ordered set of pitches. मतलब ये एक organized set of pitches from the selection of notes available to us, okay, and it has a tonic, which is C. So, for example, if I wanted to build a C major scale from these 12 notes, I would do the following. I would start with C. C would be my tonic. ठीक है, ये मेरा पहला starting point है. अब इसके बाद I need the following formula. I need to add, the next note would be a major second. The third note, okay, first note, this is called scale degree. The second scale degree would be a major second from C. Then the third would be a major third from C. The fourth would be a perfect fourth away from C. The fifth would be a perfect fifth away from C. The sixth would be a major sixth away. The seventh scale degree would be a major seventh degree away from C. And then finally, we would have the octave again. So right at the end, हमारा eighth degree, which would just be a repetition of C. So if we look at it, let's look at this. So we're starting with C. Now let's find the note name. So C के बाद एक major second interval is what we need, right? So that would be D. Can you see that? So we have D. Okay, great. Now the third would be a major third. The third note of the C major scale would be a third away from C, which is, let's see, a major third. So it's E, right? Look at that. I'm trying to show you. Now what happens with the perfect fourth? Well, if you look at it, a perfect fourth would be F. And then so on and so forth, you get the following notes. Okay, so that is how you construct a major scale, and you use this formula always to construct a major scale. Let's do F, for example. If I have F major, the second degree would be a major second away from F, right? So how many steps would that be? Well, it would be 2 steps away. So that's F to G flat, G flat to G. So the second note would be G. Okay, then the third note would be a major third away from F, right? So that would be how many notes? Be 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be A. Okay, and so on and so forth. You can try that out. So to quickly summarize, ये जो chromatic notes, ये जो सारे note options हैं, इनको हम organize कर सकते हैं into a major scale by using a particular formula which takes advantage of intervals. तो हमने basically ये सारे chromatic notes को organize किए हैं into a collection of pitches using a formula starting from the tonic, and that is what you call a major scale. तो हमने जो सीखा है we're going to apply it to scale shapes. So हम एक basic shape लेंगे where हमारा tonic is expressed by the middle finger on the 8th fret of the 6th string C. This is tonic. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, tonic. Again, an octave higher. Let's go back down. Tonic, major seventh, major sixth, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, major third, major second, root. तो जब हम practice करते हैं, we have to practice our scales and at the same time internalize or memorize the interval names of each of the positions, right? Of our fingers. ये बहुत ज़रूरी है because बाद में we're going to use this information to make new scales by learning this sort of parent scale shape, which is the major scale. It's very, very important. So saying major second, major third, perfect fourth is quite cumbersome. So let's come up with a better system. ये जो scale degrees हमने पहले देखे थे, they represent the intervals or the distance from the tonic. So let's just use that. For example, tonic is 1, major second is 2, major third is 3, perfect fourth is just 4, perfect fifth is just 5, major sixth is just 6, major seventh is just 7, and then 8 is just root. Okay, or just you can just say 1 again. So ये एक और बार करते हैं with scale degrees. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Actually, हमारे दो aims हैं. One is to be able to move the C major scale shape horizontally across the fretboard and also vertically, as यहाँ से यहाँ तक and also यहाँ से यहाँ तक. So, for example, if we move to the key F, we know that the tonic note C for C major scale for the shape is on the 8th fret, 6th string. But on the same string, F, which is the next key in the cycle of fourths, is here. So the F major shape would be. Okay. Similarly, the next key after F would be B flat, which is on the tonic is on the 6th fret, 6th string. ये major scale shape पूरे cycle of fourths को complete करके you have to take it all the way around on this string. That's only ascending. उसके बाद you will do it descending. Okay, so for example, if this is C, now I do it like this. Okay, then you go to F, then B flat. But you have to do it very slowly with a metronome. This is really important. आपको metronome के साथ ही करना है. And you should get into the habit of saying out the interval names. For example, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, root. Okay, the scale degrees. So let's try it out. Okay, so अब हम cycle of fourths पे major scale ascend करेंगे with the metronome. Okay, so choose the metronome speed in which you don't make mistakes. Okay, आपको accuracy over speed choose करनी है always. So I'm going to ascend the cycle of fourths using the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give it a rest for a bar. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give it a rest. Get ready for the next one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now let's also practice vertically. So for this, for example, you know that your C is on the 8th fret 6th string. Well, you also know that on the 8th fret 5th string is F. So let's adjust accordingly. So let's ascend. C major, F major. Right? So then you go to B flat, E flat, and so on and so forth. जब आपने ये practice कर लिया, when you practice ascending, now do descending. Okay, and so on and so forth. And then eventually what you can do is try and mix them up. For example, when you're comfortable doing that, let's take two strings for example. You can ascend C major and descend F major. C major. So I ascended C major and descended F major on the 5th string. Okay, so there are lots of combinations. I'm going to write them all down. And what you want to do is आपको systematically metronome के साथ practice करना है. Okay, and that way you will feel more comfortable taking the major scale to lots of different areas across the street. It's really important to know the major scale and its intervals क्योंकि इसको हम manipulate करके बहुत सारे modes and scales, well, the other modes and scales construct कर सकते हैं. Please do email me at karan@goajazzacademy.com if you have any questions, and do subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram for more lessons. Thank you. Have a great one.